Representatives from EU member states have been meeting in Brussels to agree on a response to the financial crisis. France is calling for major reforms, but Germany's finance minister doesn't want Paris to get all the credit.
This is not new to us Germans. We set this debate in motion during our G7 presidency in the first half of 2007.
European bonds have been creaking under the pressure. All EU states would like more regulation of the financial markets, but France's call for some kind of central European government went too far for most, despite the shows of solidarity. French President Nicolas Sarkozy, whose country holds the rotating EU presidency, was keen to play down the differences a few days later. After all, it was the European Commission's 50th anniversary, a time to sing the EU's praises.
It's lucky that the US Finance Minister Paulson made a second emergency plan, but I think he was very strongly influenced by Europe's plans. In Europe, we took the right approach. We worked together. The English, the Germans, all 27 states did their bit.
But Europe and the United States are certainly not the only ones affected by the crisis. Developing countries are hoping that the upcoming Global Financial Summit in Washington will also help them.
I think that the conference in Washington will be a very important conference, not just for the industrialized nations, but for developing countries like ours.
We would be the first, developing countries would be the first that would be affected. Hence it is very important in every aspect for us and for our economy.
Europe is the testing ground par excellence. It is a good model. That's what we can pass on to the world organizations.
The European Union would like to see itself as setting an example to the rest of the world in its response to the crisis. But trying to reach a consensus is difficult. French President Nicolas Sarkozy would like to see the world establish a new financial order, but the German Chancellor is more conservative. The Americans are also unlikely to agree to too much regulation.
Of course, we know that we have other partners in the world, and we will also be discussing things with them. But it is important that we have a common European position.
EU members have been affected differently by the global financial crisis. The slump is already hitting Britain hard, and Prime Minister Gordon Brown is eager for swift, decisive action. Spain and Germany are also slipping into recession. The German Chancellor is facing competing national and international interests.
Germany is, of course, an extremely important player in any international negotiations about changing the global financial order. I would like Germany to take a pioneering role in terms of internationalism rather than putting the brakes on. There will be enough countries who are concerned with looking after their national interests.
After the meeting, EU leaders agreed to a total overhaul of the International Monetary Fund, stricter regulation of hedge funds, and a global early warning system. Britain, once a champion of light-touch regulation, now appears to have changed its position.
And so when I get up in the morning and before I go to bed at night, these are the issues that I'm thinking about. How we can help mortgage holders, homeowners, how we can help small businesses, how we can help people in the jobs. So that is the first and foremost thought in my mind.
The German Chancellor is keen to stress that the world has to find a solution together.
We agree that we cannot respond to the current crisis with protectionism. That is why we have unanimously agreed to support free and fair trade on a global level.
Europe knows it has to be united if it wants to achieve anything at this weekend's summit in Washington. That's quite an incentive to overcome remaining differences.